I found the link.
Okay, good. Thank you.
I
Because
had, it was
I'm
buried.
in the. Oh, I thought I just sent it a couple
Well,
hours.
you it was, I don't know when it was. I have so many emails.
So I'm sitting in a room where the internet is not it's not great, and I can't open. Sometimes I can't get to emails during the meeting. So, and maybe that's helpful because sometimes agency staff will email me during the meeting, really important questions, and I don't see it. So I'm glad you were able to find the link because I
Yeah.
couldn't open it.
Got it.
So I think right now we have 6 and we need 8.
Okay. I'm real concerned about the quality of the recording on this computer because of the bandwidth in here.
Yeah, I think you're good now.
Okay. And I may need to, this is really poor quality, like at least the view that I'm having. So I may need to move back into the office where we have kind of better internet. This is not good. And if I do that, I will lose connection. So, okay.
Everybody can reconnect me.
What?
I say we can reconnect if you move into the office. We can.
No, I don't
reconnect.
want to do that. I don't want to do that to you. I'm trying to close some apps so that, but it's a challenge
Okay.
because now I don't have any email. But I may also just stop my video. Okay. So anyway, thank you all. There is probably a quorum at this point, but for folks who are not board members of either the mental health board or the DD board, or who are not staff of the mental health board and DD board, if you wouldn't mind signing into the chat and indicating any agency affiliation, that's very helpful to us. I'm in the Shields Carter room at the Brookins building in order to bring this virtual meeting into conformity with the revisions to the Open Meetings Act per the governor's executive order. So, oh, I see people signing into the chat. Thank you. I will also now that many people are here, I'm going to put the link to the board packet into the chat as well, so that y'all have access to it. Okay. And then I will show my screen. Uh-oh. Okay. Sorry, I have not had this kind of connection problem in a long time. So I'm not sure what's happening. Anyway. Stephanie, do we have a quorum now?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to show the agenda then.
All right. With that, I guess we can call the meeting to order. We can have a roll call.
Deb Rush.
Here.
Georgiana Schuster.
Hello, here.
Kim
Sorry.
Fisher.
Here.
Vicki Nicewander.
Here.
Ann Robin.
Here.
Sorry. Matt Hausman.
Here.
Daphne Maurer. Alexa McCoy.
Here.
Molly McClay.
Here.
Joe Omosagie.
Here.
Elaine Palencia.
Here.
Kyle Patterson. Jane Sprandel. Jane Sprandel. I thought I saw her earlier.
Jane, you're on mute or something, or your headset's not hooked up.
No, we can't hear you, Jane. Okay, keep trying. John Paul Joachim.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, I've got more people coming into the meeting and I'm still trying to close apps in order to improve this recording and my
All right,
connection.
can you hear me?
Yeah,
We can hear you now.
Okay, I'll just have to do it without my,
okay.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, Dr. Joachim, I'm sorry, I was sharing the agenda while you were trying to do roll call. I apologize.
No worries, you're good.
Okay.
All right. Oh, go
Now,
ahead.
are you ready for the agenda?
Yes, I am.
Here it is. I don't, my screen sharing is being really slow as well. Sorry.
That's all right. So the first thing is the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I will second. This is Georgiana.
Roll call?
Deb Rush, Deb Rush, Georgiana Schuster,
Yes, here.
Kim Fisher,
Yes.
Vicky Nicewander,
Yes.
Ann Robin,
Yes.
Matt Hausman,
Yes.
Alexa McCoy,
Yes.
Molly McClay,
Yes.
Joe Omosagie,
Yes.
Elaine Palencia,
Yes.
Jane Sprandall,
yes.
John Paul Joachim,
Yes.
and I'm gonna try Deb Rush again.
Yes, sorry, I was muted.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is the citizen input and public participation. It will limit participation to 5 minutes for public speaking with a total time of 20 minutes. Is there anyone that wants to make any comments? Now is the time for that. All right, seeing none, we'll go on to the president's comments. We can start with Dr. Ann Robin and then myself.
Okay, well, I just want to thank everyone for being here and thank the staff again for their hard work. And I think this is a fairly straightforward agenda, and because of all the back work that we've done, hopefully we will be able to get this accomplished expeditiously. That's my hope.
Yep, I agree with Dr. Robin. Seems pretty straightforward, so hopefully this won't be a too fairly long of a meeting. So. With that being said, we'll go on to to Lynn Canfield's comments.
Hi, I just started the video again because it feels so weird to talk to you without the video, but I will put it back off. Thank you so much for all of you showing up and for all of the input provided by board members and stakeholders during the development of some of the two documents that the boards are asked to consider tonight. It was kind of triumphant, and I think that's enough for me to say. I may have to step out to lock the doors in a couple minutes here, but are you ready for me to put the first item back on the screen? Is that
Yeah.
okay?
Yep, that's all right.
And things are moving very slowly. I really don't know what's wrong, but can you see just the decision memo?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, thank you. So this is, the decision memo is asking for approval of the attached RFP, and I have a potential final draft document also on my screen. So if there are any changes that we should discuss, I'm ready to do those and share the screen to show it. But also, part of what we need to do is post this bid process. This notification of bid process is the first step. So, so when we're happy with the RFP and you all considered a final draft, then we will post that bid process on the county site and on our page, and also advertise it in the Daily Line and the News Gazette. So those are, anyway, that's where we're at. If y'all are ready to take this on.
Can I ask a question about the posting? You said something about it would be on the county site, and can you tell me the rest of the places that it will be posted?
We'll post it on the county's, the page that the county has for RFPs. So, you know, this RFP follows the county process really closely. And we did work with Dan Walsh on the development of this to make sure that it conformed to the expectations that the county uses. So it's going to be posted there, but it'll also be posted on our application site in case people go to that. The other thing is I'll make it a PDF of the RFP itself available to you all to distribute to people that you might know who do this kind of work, because that's the other thing. We'll advertise it, make it clear where you can go to find the RFP, and then we can all share the RFP too.
Lynn, did you give any, did you talk to Mark Aber at all about, did he have any ideas about going forward, any suggestions of anybody who might take this on?
He did not, but I believe that he and Nicole Allen know people who do this kind of work.
Mhm.
I'm suggesting that Dr. Aber be part of the evaluation committee,
Mhm.
since he understands the work way better than I do.
Yeah, yeah.
So that would, that's another resource. I think that Illinois State University also has people who do this kind of research, and we have a connection there. So I think distributing this into all of the networks that we can think of is going to be really helpful. I know we don't want to have to review 400 proposals, but I really doubt we would have very many. And this is a really specific kind of work.
So Lynn, do most of the people that do this come from like our professors at the university? So we'd be looking at different universities across the state.
I mean, I think there are other research organizations that would be qualified to do it, but we are sitting right here with a huge research institution, and you're right. There are other universities in the state of Illinois that might have teams really qualified to do this work. So we can spread it out. I'm not sure. I don't really know people like, for example, at Southern and at Northwestern. We have met with researchers at those universities before to talk about the database for crisis calls, like that specific kind of research. But it seemed like they're all connected. So we might want to reach out to those people and see if they know others.
Is there a limit to where we would say, like, okay, if you're not if it's not a research team in the state of Illinois, you're not eligible? Because I definitely know, I mean, as a WashU grad student, there definitely are folks there who might be interested, but if we need to limit things like geographically, okay.
I don't think so. I mean, that's if you want to have limits like that, we would need to add them to the RFP. But I didn't put any kind of limitations like that.
Do we need to have the motion on the floor to have this discussion, or are we just discussing it?
I'm not sure.
I think we just discussing it.
Yeah, I think technically we're supposed to have the motion on the floor and then we have discussion. So if we want to go by the rules, I guess we should move the motion and then discuss it.
This is Deb Ruch. I'll make a motion to approve Ed's request for proposals, evaluation capacity building project for the county Champaign RFP number 2022-010.
Second.
Any discussion?
Continued discussion.
Let's continue discussion, exactly.
I
I
heard
did
there
not-
was somebody that wanted to make a change in the RFP because I think the purpose of this meeting is not to decide who's going to do it or what their scope is. That's going to be, but this is the RFP that's going to be published. Are there any modifications needed for the RFP?
Yeah, actually, I did have a couple suggested modifications. And thank you to Lynn for the fact that I threw the last minute curveball at her and she was, Lynn, I don't know if you want to go ahead and I think you said you were going to put some of this stuff in. But it was mostly, as I brought up when Dr. Aber had presented before, wanting to make sure we include something about using the evaluation data to improve services. So just basically where it's kind of mentioned is right in the first section, the purpose for the RFP, where we list proposals for instruction on evaluation methods, identification, measurement of quality of outcomes, strategies for improved data collection and or presentation of summary results. I want to put in utilization results for program improvement.
So that's on page 3 of the document, like handwritten page 9. So I don't know if you can all see it, but I put yellow highlights on Matt's suggested language.
I think that sounds good.
Okay. There's a real small detail up here somewhere. There was a comma that shouldn't have been. There's a comma right here. That's on page 1 or 7 handwritten. There's this extra comma right there. So I took that out because that was wrong. Okay. So that's another revision.
And then following up, kind of on the same lines then on in section 7 for the exhibit 7-1 exhibit 1 and the scope of services. So this is page 23 of the 17 of the document, 23 in the handwritten. A similar thing, just adding this improvement of services to the list.
I'm so sorry. It's taken me a second to get there. There we go. Is this language still okay, Matt, or have you thought of something different?
No, I think it's the general idea, so looks great to me.
Can I just ask the sentence before, doesn't that address what you're suggesting? So desired outcomes should be identified which align with the benefits sought by those being served.
That sentence.
Yeah.
I think
It's all
that
good.
Hmm?
It's all good.
Mhm.
Who can be opposed to data-driven programming?
And I think just to clarify, I think that sentence before is kind of a qualifier. It's the rationale for the sentence that follows. Because it's talking about measuring the impact, collecting relevant data, that's how that stuff is identified, I think is what is my understanding of the reading of that.
You ready for the next one? Do y'all feel comfortable with that?
Mhm.
Thank you.
Well, and Matt also found something that I hadn't thought about that would tend to undermine the authority of the boards. It was a really good catch. I don't know if that's what you were concerned about, but that's how it struck me. And that
Yeah,
was,
well, yeah, I think I just took it from the other approach, but yeah, where was that? It was in the process,
that's page
4-1, the preliminary proposal assessment.
So it's page 14 of the document or 20 of the handwritten numbers.
But basically the way it's written now, that if a proposal is incomplete or missing key components, at the discretion of the evaluation committee, it may be rejected from further consideration as non-responsive. So to me, that led it to that the committee could also go back and then ask a respondent to provide more information that might have been missing in their initial proposal. But then Lynn pointed out to me that that actually would, like she said, undermine the authority. So we might have to get rid of that comment.
It could create an unfair process, which would, you know, if someone makes an objection to that, like a decision that's made in private like that to seek additional information, could be trouble later. So
Yeah, we've talked about this with applications, our regular applications, so I think that is a good catch. That it would create playing field that isn't level if some people can revise and others are not asked to, after the deadline. I agree with that.
well, Matt, those were the issues that you and I talked about. Did you have any others?
Nope, that was all I had.
And like maybe other board members have thoughts that we should address here, but I wanted to tell you all that I'm kind of an opportunist, and here at the very bottom, I feel like making these changes gives me an opportunity to say, hey, what if we put in the link to last week's meeting? Because we've got every year report except the most recent one, because I wrote this before last week's meeting. So now I feel like I've got this opportunity to add September 2022, if you all think that's okay.
Do it.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, it sounds great.
I think that might be nicer for applicants, and I'll go grab that link in a second. Okay, so if there are others, I should be quiet.
Are there any other modifications that anyone would like to make to the proposal?
I would like to move that we approve the proposal as modified.
I will second that motion. Can we get a roll call?
Deb Rush made the original motion and Dr. Robbins seconded the
Oh,
original
okay.
motion. So Deb Rush needs to agree to the modification.
Okay, makes total
Thanks.
Thank you,
sense.
Stephanie.
Okay, so I'd like to move to approve the attached request for proposals evaluator 2022-010 as modified during this evening's discussion.
Second.
Matt Hausman,
Yes.
Alexa McCoy,
Yes.
Molly McClay,
Yes.
Joe Omosagie,
Yes.
Elaine Valencia,
Yes.
Jane Sprandel,
Yes.
Deb Rush,
Yes.
Jordana Schuster,
Yes.
Kim Fisher,
Yes.
Vicky Niswander.
Yes.
And Robin,
Yes.
John Paul Joachim.
Yes. All right. The next item on the agenda is old business. It's the 73 on page.
I apologize. I'm having a really hard time getting to that page in order to share it. I'm going to switch over to using my phone for the internet because this is a disaster. I don't get it. I'm really sorry. Sorry, I cannot move the agenda to show, the packet to show you this document. I'm sorry. Right. Maybe this is better. There it is. This is somewhere in the middle of the document. This isn't really ideal. I think that what we mean to show you is the decision section.
Page 44.
Okay, thank you.
Can I make a motion?
Yeah, I think, okay, yep.
I make a motion to approve the IDD Special Initiatives, formerly SILA Facilities Fund 2023 allocation priorities and decision support criteria as described in this memorandum.
I'll second that motion.
All right, can we have discussion?
Again, I appreciate y'all providing so much input on the development of these priorities over the last few months. It puts us way ahead of the game, but I think that's good since bringing you both together for decisions like this is, you know, maybe it's a little inconvenient for y'all. So if you're comfortable with this as a final draft, we're in a real good position, kind of ahead of the game.
I just want to make sure that I understand what we're agreeing to, because there's a lot in here. That this is basically priorities, but the money is going to be used as we allocate our funds in fiscal year 24. Am I correct? That
You
they'll
are.
be,
Yeah. I at some point I had hoped that we could get to it sooner than the regular allocation cycle, but it was really difficult to put together a scheme like that included enough meetings for you and enough time for us. And also time for the agencies, but it is a third fund. So we have the mental health board allocations, the DD board allocations, and then this special fund, which we can probably use for 3 years. Depending
so
on,
this will be on the website, and agencies and programs can have a look at it and see whether what they have to offer dovetails with this, and then we can approve their programs.
Lynn, just really briefly, can you just bullet point the difference between the application process for this particular project versus the application process for our regularly cycled programs?
well,
Allocations.
it's probably going to be like the same expectations as far as registration. There are a lot of agencies already registered to one board or the other. They would be eligible if they're already registered. If they're not, they would have to go through the registration. So that's not really simpler. And then for the application forms, it would be the same ones, but we're trying to simplify those a little bit for all.
Okay.
And I think the main difference is that with these being really short-term, emergency-oriented efforts, that you could make special consideration for an agency that might not normally meet all the requirements. For example, some of the small parent support networks who don't have any staff, like you could reduce the reporting requirements, not require an audit, and we would do that by having a reimbursement-based contract. So that's sort of the spirit of it, is that you could create exceptions for each application in order, if it's something you want to fund, but a rule is in the way for this special purpose, this emergency, you could waive some requirement.
Okay, thank you.
The question I did have is, would both the DDB board and the MHB board have to meet to approve things, or how would that work? Would you do one at each meeting and then approve it that way?
That is such a good question, because in May, you already have a lot of meetings to talk about the funding decisions for the regular funds. So this might be a special joint meeting, or we could bring you each board the same recommendations and just say that approval is contingent. And in that case, we might need to have a couple extra meetings in order to get full agreement. but, have your meetings be held separately. I didn't add any meetings to your calendar yet. So it's really, it's really something we should figure out. Like, is it better to do one of these, or is it better to keep the schedule we normally have and do one board at a time? And then if there's not agreement, we go back.
Well, Lynn, we have a precedent of having separate meetings, and since the DD board meets in the morning and mental health board in the afternoon, we've passed a resolution saying contingent on approval by the mental health board, and then the mental health board gets to say yes or no. So far, it's worked.
Right. And if we have enough discussion of the content of the applications and of what kind of requirements we might recommend be waived beforehand, so that you're not blindsided at a May meeting with decisions that we haven't prepared for, maybe it would work. We've not done this before.
I think we did it with, obviously we did with the SILA funding. So I think it should be hopefully similar to that. The funding is going to be for 2024. So the meetings will be in probably the later half of 2023, you think, for approval of?
No, all the PY24 funding starts July 1st.
Okay.
So it's the same schedule as the other funding decisions.
All right. Any other comments, questions?
So this is Georgiana speaking, when we have, if we have some agency that is requesting funding through this fund, are we going to go through the scrutiny the same way we have for the other fundings in the past? Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
It's just that we're setting it up in order to, we would still apply the same scrutiny, but we would be able to say, we see this particular requirement is in the way of a really good deal for the citizens of Champaign County, and we would recommend waiving it. For example, if an agency doesn't have headquarters in Champaign County, or their board doesn't have a Champaign County representative, that's usually they're disqualified. But it might be that for a short-term contract for something that we really want, that you really want, that it's worth waiving one of those requirements. But those should be discussions that the board is able to have.
So we'll have somewhat different qualifications for this money. Yeah.
You have more, you can relax requirements, or I mean, really, you are the decision makers. You could say no to everything too. It's just like whether someone presents you with a good deal, with something that you believe will help people with IDD in this county.
But like Lynn was saying, that they don't need to have an audit. We can have more exceptions that we have than we would have normally for agencies that we would fund programs for. So this one would have more flexibility for sure. But I think all of us I think with both boards, I think there's enough people that I think we're all going to be very diligent in making decisions for funding. But we can see how the process moves along and see how, we can learn from it and see how things turn out. But I mean, obviously it is going to be a little more flexible than the normal funding.
Along those lines, I had a question, since I know of it, but kind of familiar with the approval process, because you mentioned the mini grant program that the DD board has been using some. I'm kind of curious how that works.
Well, the mini grant was such a good idea. The mini grant was an idea from board members, and it had come up a bunch of times over the years. So we decided we're going to do this. We're going to try it. Well, it was so hard to do because COVID came right when we were getting it started. So it was just a mess. We also have had since then, 2 attorneys suggested that this would be much better to do through an agency and not for us to do it as a government entity. but to subcontract for an agency to run a project like that.
Okay.
It's the kind of thing like if you all think that that mini grant kind of process would be good for people, you know, which I do, I think it was good, then we just need to find an agency who could run that.
Okay. That's kind of how I thought you had it written. I just wasn't quite sure on how that was running.
And there were a couple of cases where I thought we could do, just depending on the kind of project it is, like if it's a small parent support network doing, you know, when we're giving them money to pay for events, then it could be a reimbursement basis and an audit would not be necessary, but also financial reports might not be as frequent for something like that. I think there were quite a few places where I was suggesting less frequent reports. So for the reports to be semi-annual instead of quarterly. Not the strengthening the IDD workforce one. That priority would still have quarterly reports. Oh, wait, sorry, wrong page. Those could be semi-annual too, actually. Okay. So that looks like it's a feature in all of the priority categories that we would do less frequent reporting.
Are there any modifications that anyone sees that they would like to make to the proposal? All right, if there's no further discussion or questions, we can move on with the motion to vote. So I think we already had the motion, so I can, I guess, move on with roll call.
Deb Ruch,
Yes.
Georgiana Schuster, Georgiana,
Yes, yes.
Kim Fisher,
Yes.
Vicky Nicewander,
Yes.
Ann Robin,
Yes.
Matt Hausman,
Yes.
Alexa McCoy,
Yes.
Molly McClay,
Yes.
Joe Omosagie,
Yes.
Elaine Palencia,
Yes.
Jane Sprandel,
Yes.
John Paul Joachim,
Yes. Seeing as the motion passed, the next item on the agenda is agency input now. So if there's any agencies in the meeting, and if you want to make any comments, you can at this time. Just limit it to 5 minutes. Thanks. All right, seeing no comments, we'll move on to board announcements. All right, if there's no board announcements, we'll go on to other business. So it's the employment of the executive director. So we can choose to discuss whether to approve a 2-year 2023 and 2024 contract with Lynn, the executive director. If a closed session discussion is preferred, we have to defer to a meeting later in the. Each board may defer to a meeting later in the year or move the boards to an executive session.
And unfortunately, if you want a closed session, I might have to be in it, or I might have to have access to the recording. It's kind of awkward, but anyway, and also I misspoke last week. I do think that if you do have a closed session about this matter, that it has to stay closed for 18 months. I'm not sure. Stephanie and I were talking about that. We couldn't remember the rule, but I misspoke at one of the meetings last week. So anyway.
So my understanding is we have an option of a closed session if we really need to do that. I did poll all of the DD board members and we all agreed that we would be happy to approve Lynn's contract without a closed session, that we can do it in an open meeting. John?
I did not do that, but I didn't hear if anyone wanted to move to a closed session. If anyone does, that's okay. Just let yourself be known, and we can move to a closed session to discuss any questions about the contract for Lynn for the next 2 years.
The main reason to do a closed session is if you want to say things that you really should not be saying in an open meeting, and we don't have any of those.
And I mean, I've been on the board since 2020, and I would just say Lynn has done an excellent job at guiding the mental health board with tough decisions that we've made, especially during the pandemic. So I don't have any questions or anything that I would want to discuss in a closed session.
Neither do I.
Yes, I agree. No closed session necessary for me. This is Deb Rouge.
Yeah, I no closed session for me.
So do we need a motion?
I think we do need a
We
motion.
do, yeah.
Through,
I don't see a motion printed.
Yeah.
So sorry, I did not provide a motion. There is nothing in there. I'm sorry, Anne. I
So
forgot.
I can just make a motion if that's okay.
Sounds good.
Go for it.
I will move to approve a 2-year 2023 and 2024 contract with the executive director, Lynn Canfield.
And Vicky Nice seconds.
All right. I guess any discussion currently?
Well, I just want to say that John and I did complete independently and then together a pretty thorough evaluation as Joe Masagi and I had done 2 years before. And we've maintained good close contact with Lynn. I was happy that John and I totally agree. And John, you did a very nice job of articulating some of my thoughts, which I hadn't really put into sentence form yet. So thank you for that. So Lynn has received an evaluation from the 2 board presidents, and it was a good one. And Lynn, is that open to the public, the evaluation, or is that privileged?
No, that's in personnel file.
Okay.
Once approved and signed, my contract is actually public. I don't know if they still post it on the county website. They used to, but the evaluation is in the personnel file. I believe board
Okay.
members can see it, but I don't think anybody else is allowed to.
So it's discoverable, but not open.
Right.
Okay.
Just a logistics question. So is this approving a specific contract, an extension contract, or?
The contract that we have looked at, the board presidents and I, is really, there are almost no changes from the current one, which was also virtually identical to the first one. It does define salary increases this time, because usually we don't talk about my contract until after the budget is done. And so there was never a mechanism to have a salary increase. So they're modest, they're less than what the county is doing. And I think that's fine. I don't need more than what other people are getting. But Dr. Joachim and Dr. Robin, were there I don't think there were any other changes.
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But is there a salary increase in the contract? There is, from what we're offering you. Okay, that was my question. All right, thank you.
I can show you. I could send it to you.
Okay. Because you deserve one, I think.
I agree. I agree.
Well, you're very kind. This is, I really appreciate the opportunity to do this work. It gets a little bit easier as I learn it, but you know, then new stuff happens. So
Absolutely.
I guess a question on the salary increase. Is that, did that take into consideration inflation and COLA?
no, what the county has negotiated for county staff is slightly below COLA this year. No one knows what they'll do next year. So our staff are getting that. But I can stay a little bit below that. It's below that. And then next year it's like 3.5%, I think, or 3%, which is more typical of what the county has been doing. This year their increases are 5%, but I don't need that. But it's not really keeping up with COLA, and it's causing, I think this is like a, you know, there's a growing issue at the county, and it could grow for our staff as well. So we're always hoping for larger increases to be approved.
And the
there's
salaries,
with the unions too, so.
and the salaries for all of them are below the national average. Not really that close, actually. So.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's tricky because the county is really struggling with that. And they, I don't know, we could talk about this for a long time, but they have finally done a workforce study after, I think, 15 years, 14 years. We do one every 3 years where we're doing a comparison with salary comps. It took the county a long time to do it. I have not seen the results yet, but you know, people talk about the input and it's tough here, so.
Yeah, so I mean, I think, you know, there's a lot of hardworking people that are doing this job because, you know, they want to serve the public and they want to, you know, help the community that they live in. And I think, you know, Lynn is definitely one of those people as well. So.
I will second that comment.
Well, thank you all for the kindness.
Seeing no other comments, I'll move to roll call.
Deb Rush,
Yes.
Georgiana Schuster. Georgiana Schuster,
Yes.
Kim Fisher,
Yes.
Vicky Niswander,
Yes.
Ann Robin,
Yes.
Matt Hausman,
Yes.
Alexa McCoy,
Yes.
Molly McClay,
Yes.
Joe Omosagie,
Yes.
Elaine Valencia,
Yes.
Jane Sprandel,
Yes.
John Paul Joachim.
Yes. All right. Seeing nothing else on the agenda, I guess the last thing is to adjourn. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of the warm fall that we have before the winter sets in.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Everyone.
Take care.
Have a good wait.